Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's edition of Carroll Singer's Pandemic, meditative, deeply spiritual, autobiographical, stand-up tragicomedy. What a mouthful, eh? Is everybody having a great lock-in? I keep calling it a lock-in, don't I? It's a lockdown to everyone else. But to me, it's been a lock-in for the last 4 weeks. 1,000 units of alcohol every day. Some soupists to go out. Anyway, for every unit of alcohol, I water it down with... Can I just ask you to turn your mobile phones off? Because I don't want to be interrupted by your mobile phones. So for every unit of alcohol, I water it down with Adam's ale. That's a biblical reference for you. As in reference to Adam, who was Eve's partner. And we'll look into it, Google it. Hey, I can wave my hands. Let's move on. So our pandemic. Last night's news was that the American oil price index had gone negative. I believe yesterday was the last day of the April sale of oil in the United States. It's called something like TPI, I think, Texas Petroleum Index. And today is the start of a new one, so it'd be interesting to see how the oil price is going today and for the next few weeks in Texas. Because I have like this much sympathy for the President of the United States. This much sympathy. So this is a report. I have a new employment contract as a journalist with a journal called the Narcissistic Times, and something else that's difficult to say. And I'm reporting from Trumplmania. Later on, I'll be telling you about my philosophy of the Weebles. But I'll mutter on about something before that. I'm hoping that my cousin's husband Stuart is going to edit this, so it's absolutely brilliant. But I appreciate it at the moment, it's absolutely crap. So I've invented this pandemic comedy. It was inspired by the comedian Mars Jupp and his appearance on the first edition of the new series of Have I Got News For You, where I noticed that, I don't know if you know that obviously these programs can't be recorded with audiences anymore, so there's no audience response, neither is there any canned laughter recorded with it. And the very first program, obviously it was a trial, Mars Jupp wasn't laughing out loud, but he was sort of in a very sympathetic British stiff upper lip sort of style. He was inwardly inhaling to express his amusement. So that's what pandemic comedy is really about. We don't have to manically express our laughter to share that with the comedic audience, because there is no comedic audience. Well, there's a tablet and a chair that the tablet's resting on, but otherwise there's not really any audience apart from a few plants and plots and pots and buckets and stuff and a wooden fence there. And I'll just show you the beautiful garden tended by our amazing neighbour, Mr. Bill J. So, watching Have I Got News For You in the new pandemic comedic style was quite an experience for me. And then I listened to the news quiz on Friday night, where there was a bit more humour expressed from the comedians, from the compare. Apologise, I can't remember her name. Was it Alison something? And also from the comedian Mark Steele, I believe. But obviously they haven't got the true spirit of deep spiritual meditative pandemic comedy. So I think that's something they really need to work on in the current challenging, difficult circumstances. What the feck else am I going to talk about? Shall I move on to the that's those 1,000 units of alcohol and those 1,000 units of Adam's ale. Anyway, the philosophy of Weebles. I'm a great believer in spectrums. For example, human life has a spectrum of elation, and at the opposite extreme of the spectrum, there's mourning and grief. So elation, if you become a parent, or you start a new relationship or employment, or you're really successful in a great big crime, which is what I hope to be. Well, I already am, you might say. At the opposite end of the extreme of the spectrum, I've lost both my parents in the last 7 years of my life. So with my sister, we're orphans, but life goes on. I can handle it sort of logically, but emotionally, and still, even 7 years later, I'm still processing it. So what is a Weeble? Well, a Weeble is like a multi-dimensional physical representation of an individual's spirituality, psychology, emotions, their whole holistic person. So I'll describe a Weeble to you. I'd compare a Weeble and Weeble is a toy from my childhood. Maybe in the 70s, so I was a bit too old for it by then. Chronologically, if not mentally. Similar to a Sabutio player. So I hope Sabutio players are understood maybe more by the male gendered persons watching this, but also maybe their sisters, their cousins, their nieces, and so on, so on, so on. Don't want to be gender specific about Sabutio. Sabutio is like a football set, but unlike a table football set, Sabutio players are units, and there's a human figure on a base, and the lower part of the base is like a semicircular base, so it can like lean and lean and lean and lean. So a Weeble was a larger version of a Sabutio player. I've been taking antidepressants since the psychotic mental health episode about 18 years ago, and the side effects of the antipsychotic medication is weight gain. So my something or other, my centre of mass, my equilibrium might be a bit forward that way. But some people go like that a bit. Some people just go all sorts of things. So that's my philosophy of Weebles. And the catchphrase, the slogan of Weebles was, Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Oh, I can see a timer. If I do another minute and 3/4, I'll do 10 minutes. What a waste of time that'll be. So I mentioned grief and mourning. People, performers, they hopefully take their performance seriously and prepare professionally. Again, there's a spectrum. The performance might be a complete disaster like this one. Performance might be a wonderful, elative experience. Complete opposite this one. Or might just be somewhere in between. But you'd hope that the performer has taken at least a professional attitude towards performing, which is complete opposite of what I've done, obviously. Have thought about it for the odd moment between like drinking a unit of alcohol and a unit of Adam's ale. But I prepared an epitaph for my park bench on Hampstead Heath. And my epitaph goes like this. May you rest as softly as our spirits. May you rest as softly as our spirits. And may you tread as softly as our souls. So that's one for you to think about. Until the next episode of the Narcissistic Times from Trumplmania. Thank you for watching and listening. I look forward to your attention soon. Bye. Oh, and the attire is to express the whole spectrum of emotions and feelings and thoughts, and well, mainly rubbish, I guess. Bye.